setting up agreements, social media for martial artists, all in this episode of This Week at NES. This week has been a very busy week, as always. It's business as usual, and we're working continuously to make sure that everything is running smoothly for you. If you haven't already, be sure to follow us on all social media with @NES Management, and check out the links in the description below for some useful resources and other NES videos that are definitely beneficial to you. This week I've been talking to our assistant marketing manager Joe about social media. Let's see how we got on. So we want to talk about what social media is best suited for martial artists.
It's a bit of a tricky question because historically I think for the last few years martial artists have had good luck with Facebook, but the platform is sort of plateaued a little bit. So the user base the user numbers are sort of steady, maybe it's on a slight decline. Instagram is definitely growing for martial artists, and then there are sort of new players on the game. We talked about Clubhouse a little while ago, and the big one is TikTok. But I would say that what's more important is that you are putting good content out on a platform. So if you feel like you can get really good stuff on Facebook, and Facebook's going to be the one for you. If you feel like you're much more comfortable with Instagram, Instagram's going to be the one for you. I think if you are starting from scratch and you want to learn a platform, concentrate on Facebook and Instagram, at least for now. They are still the biggest players in town, and you're covering a huge selection of your audience with just those two platforms.
And it's like providing value with everything that you put out there on social media, isn't it? So
exactly, yeah. Quality over quantity is the trick.
So if, like, for example, you know that you're good at Facebook, or you're used to Facebook, focus on Facebook instead of going, like, you know, putting all fingers in every single pie.
Yeah.
It's good to focus on one rather than...
Exactly. Don't stretch yourself too thin and try and be active on every platform. For example, Twitter and LinkedIn I don't think are very useful for martial artists. Twitter is very much sort of the topic of the day. It's really useful for news and emerging topics and trending topics and live TV shows and sporting events and things like that. And that's what people use it for. That's what people go there.
And just like a chat, really, isn't it?
A chat, yeah. I mean, larger brands use it for customer service and to sort of engage with their a larger client base like that, and be a bit cheeky on there. But I think for local businesses it's much more difficult to build a following, and especially martial arts is very visual, isn't it? You kind of want to see what people are doing, and although you can have images on video on Twitter, it's not native to the platform. It's not what the platform's designed for. Again, LinkedIn, students aren't going to be looking on your LinkedIn profile.
It's more for businesses, really.
It's more for businesses, yeah. So if you're a larger academy and you have staff, or you're a multi-location academy, it's probably worth having a LinkedIn presence and putting the occasional post on there. But it's really more focused on B2B or recruiting staff. So I'd say focus on Facebook and Instagram.
And with Instagram, for example, it is visual, but they're kind of moving away from just pictures, right? So they're moving towards like video.
Yeah, and every platform is trying to be everything to everyone. So when TikTok came along and they had that ever scrolling portrait style videos that were really short and really engaging, and you just flick to the next one. Instagram brought out Reels. They also have, what is it called on Instagram? That's their YouTube.
The IGTV.
The IGTV, which nobody uses. I forgot what it was called. But you can have long form video on Instagram. You can have short, is it 30, 15 seconds on the feed? And then obviously there's stories, which are, more and more people are using stories for video. So the difference for you as content creators would be focus on having sort of nice, slightly more staged but still organic and sort of behind the scenes photos on your feed. Maybe you could do some video stories that sort of explain what's going on that day. Remember, stories last 24 hours. You can archive them. People don't tend to dive back into your archives that often. So, just keep it relevant, keep it on what's happening on the dojo in that day.
So for martial artists using TikTok, how should they, what do you think about that? I mean, obviously TikTok is growing continuously, but it's difficult for martial arts to do that?
I think it's difficult for any local business to use TikTok. And the reason being, for example, Facebook, I would look for, we're in Nottingham, I might look for Nottingham-based groups, and the content that I choose, at least originally, I pick and then the feed and the algorithm starts to feed me more similar stuff to that. TikTok removes that first step entirely, and it's just the algorithm, it's just the feed, and it's, you know, you are, if we're in the UK, we're fed more UK content, but generally it's global.
Anywhere.
So you're just scrolling through, seeing content from absolutely anywhere. And how do you sort of build an organic following as a local business? It's very, very difficult to do. Same thing with advertisements. There is an ad platform, and you can have adverts, and you do see more and more people doing it. But TikTok has to be, the adverts that you have, the videos that you have to fit in naturally with the rest of the feed. It'd be very jarring and turn off a user if they're going through and it's a blatant advert. And to do that naturally and organically is difficult. So unless you are comfortable with the platform and you feel like you understand TikTok or Instagram Reels and you feel, yeah, I get this, I can do this, then maybe it's not quite there yet. But as always, the platform grows, it becomes less niche.
Everything's constantly changing.
Everything's constantly changing.
Being updated. Isn't it?
So I imagine soon, you know, already TikTok's moved away from just like lip syncing and things like that, and you know, it's already evolved from what it was originally. And now I imagine as more people grow, it will become more sort of homogenized, and then maybe you can start putting any type of advert on there. But for now,
it's not quite there yet.
Not quite there yet.
Well, Instagram and Facebook it is then.
I think so for now, yeah, at least.
Yeah, brilliant, thank you very much.
No problem.
Let's now have a look at the nest management system, myMA. To suspend a student for any period of time, you'll need to get in touch with our customer service department. On any active direct debit student record, there is a contact box where you can send a message to Nest regarding that student. Please note, Nest can only suspend whole agreements, not individual students, from an agreement. We require partial agreement suspends to be submitted as a price change. If you haven't already, make sure you check out our website here for our FAQ section, and of course leave a comment below if you found this video useful. For now, let's have a look at today's FAQ. Can new students set up from their mobile? Customers can set up from any web-enabled device. Every payer receives an email and text message with a link to set up their agreement. Having a positive mindset can really make a lot of difference. If you wake up and say that you're going to have a bad day, it's most likely going to be a bad day. Changing that mindset to have a good attitude can change your personal life and your work life for the better. Keep powering through and keep aiming for success. You will get there. Well, that's it from me, but as always, we'll see you next week. Okay, 1, 2, 3.
That's good.
What am I saying? What are we talking about? Are you ready for this week of Nest? Yes, I am. Obviously. Cool.